Hey, what's up, guys? It's Josh Engel, also known as Anti-Pro, coming at you, and my co-host,
Mike Bisson, a.k.a. Mohawk Mike.
And this is BossFight TV's The Reload, and this week we'll be covering December 5th through the 12th. And there was a lot of things going on this week, Mike.
Not as much as last week.
Not as much as last week.
Still a lot to cover.
There's a lot to cover. Before we get started, though, you might notice that the audio sounds pretty sweet.
It's not crappy.
It's not crappy. One of the big things that we wanted to do when we first started, putting the show out there is we wanted to get feedback from you guys, and we wanted you all to pretty much, tell us what did you like, what did you hate. And a lot of you came out and told us exactly what you thought about the show, and we appreciate that. And one of the biggest gripes was, hey, your audio is meh.
That's a very polite way of putting it.
Yeah, dude, all right. It sucked. Simple as that. So we had a lot of people come out and want to help us. This week we're borrowing a mic from one of our friends. Hi, Zach. What's going on, buddy? We have a very, very special friend that we have met, and his name is Jason from eSports. He sat down. We love you. Yay. We sat down. We talked on Skype. We sent some emails back and forth. He had a lot of things to say. He actually also used us for his first episode for a new video series that he's working on, where he's going to be taking shows like ours, also live stream shows, as well as just gaming streams and all sorts of anything that requires production value or anything like that. He's going to be basically giving feedback, telling everyone how to get better at it, and things of that nature. So, Jason, thank you so much. You're awesome. We love you, and we love eSports. So follow eSports. That's at eSports on Twitter, and then it's iHeartEsports.com. So check them out, and we actually are going to announce a partnership with eSports because he is so kind enough to help us out with some equipment and things of that nature. So Jason and eSports, we love you. We heart you.
We heart eSports.
Indeed, and you should too. Jumping right on into the World Cyber Games. World Cyber Games has a big history. It's been around. It's its 11th tournament going on. There's a lot of games, all the way from StarCraft down to Warcraft 3, Counter-Strike 1.6, all the way down to some phone games. It was Asphalt 6. And the billiards game. What's that billiard? I can't remember.
I can't remember that.
If I don't mention it, Nick is going to be like, that billiards game.
The billiards game.
But StarCraft 2 was huge. And I tell you, the interesting thing about StarCraft 2 is there were 31 countries in attendance to fight it out in StarCraft 2. And the crazy thing about having that many countries come in and compete in StarCraft 2 is you get to see all the different strategies, because when you play in the North American server, any player that has played anywhere else will tell you that when you go to the Korean server, it's a totally different animal.
So different.
It's crazy. And the casters, like I remember I was watching Taste Toasts, and they were sitting there and they were like, yeah, like that was actually popular in Korea like 2 months ago, but they don't do that anymore. Nope. So a few players were able to throw some loops in there, and it was crazy. The other interesting thing, though, they actually let the players watch the replays in between matches as well, which I found kind of interesting because they can pretty much kind of be like, hey, what's that guy doing? What was going through his head? So it gives them a little edge to make sure everything's rocking and rolling. But going into the tournament, MVP was definitely a crowd favorite. The Koreans have won every single StarCraft 2, well, should I say StarCraft 1 tournament at the World Cyber Games. They have never lost. And not only have they never lost, they, more often than not, carried the first, second, and third places. So it's kind of a big deal walking in. This is the first StarCraft 2 match, or first StarCraft 2 tournament at the WCG. And there were so many countries in attendance that
It was anybody's game.
It was anybody's game.
Anybody could have took it.
Anybody. And somebody came close.
Oh.
Ooh. We have Shigua. I think I'm saying that right. Shigua. He was from China. He ended up coming into the finals. And he didn't drop many games coming up into the finals. And it was insane because everyone was like, whoa, there's a guy that is coming in stronger than MVP, and it's not looking too good at all. And so MVP, Shigua, jump into the first game. Everyone's like, what's going to happen? And MVP was not messing around. He went with a 2 racks push with a bunker rush and shut the game down. Like, I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head how long the games were, but it was fast. It was actually scary fast, especially for such high-level play like that. Game 2 was a little more intense. They pretty much gave the crowd what they deserved. Because you're at a huge tournament in the finals, people want to see those intense, ridiculous matches, and they gave it to them. It was a very drop-oriented game. Both players dropped back and forth a couple times. There were a couple good saves on both players' parts. Some really nice saves, especially in Shigua. Like, he shut down a few really nice, or would have been nice drops for MVP. And then at the same time, MVP got some really nice drops in. The crazy part about this game is I don't play Terran. I love nukes. I love to see them try to pull out some crazy nukes, and MVP is known to pull out ghosts at the end of a game, especially against Zerg players. And he started researching nukes, and he executed some ridiculous nuke drops. And at one point, he killed over 70 drones of Shigua. Over 70. That's crippling. That's economy crippling.
Too much.
And after those tactical drops that gave him a really huge lead in the economy side of things, Shigua really he couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle it. And so MVP took the second game, giving him the championship, keeping the championship at the WCG in the Koreans' courts. So we're going to have to see next year what happens. So let's see if any other countries can come up and compete with the Koreans. So that wraps up StarCraft 2. There was also a huge Counter-Strike 1.6 tournament going on, right?
It's actually a really good time to be a Counter-Strike fan right now, because kind of with the release of, the beta for Counter-Strike Global Offensive, there's so much tournament action going on right now because they're trying to, I don't want to say they're trying to revamp the scene, but it's definitely back to its former glory days where it once was. So SK Gaming, of course, favored to come in.
SK, rock on.
They were, if you recall from DreamHack, they were actually the summer championship winners, so they came into DreamHack Winter with a high seed, were actually knocked out in the first round. So SK basically wanted to come in and say, hey, you know what? That DreamHack, total fluke. We were just off for a game. It's cool.
They were out for blood.
We were in our home country, but we're here to prove that we are the 1.6 team to beat. So what happens? In the round of 16, they pull out the Chinese team Tylo and actually tie the series 1-1 and take the match into a third game. So at this point, it's a nail-biter already, because SK Gaming is in danger of already losing again in the first round in a major tournament, but we're able to pull it out. And then in their next 3 matches, we're able to just sweep 2-0, earn their spot into the grand finals. But it was actually Poland's team, again, who was able to knock them out in the grand finals in another very tense best-of-3 series. So shout out to Poland, winning the title again, taking home the medal. SK, silver's not bad.
It's not.
Silver's not bad.
Not. Especially after DreamHack, silver's not bad.
Silver's not bad. But you kind of have to wonder, is the landscape changing now that Go is getting ready to be released into public beta? And kind of speaking of this, kind of on a side note, actually Mortal Teamwork, otherwise known as MTW, and Mousesports have basically cannibalized their 1.6 teams and invested all of their players, all of their talent, all of their money into their new Source teams, which is weird because Source doesn't really have any major tournaments going on right now, so one can only suspect that this is actually going towards CSGO, and that they're trying to establish those teams early and be, very well prepared for when the game releases. Because, obviously ESL is going to pick it up, and if progression, proves history, then CSGO will be the new game, and that'll be that.
And Source is closer to Go than 1.6 is, obviously, especially in the graphics department and probably the playability department as well. I mean, I've seen some streams going on, and I personally haven't got into the beta. I would love to try it out or whatever, and hopefully soon it'll go into more of an open beta for the public to jump in and play. But it's definitely an interesting move on their part. It'll be kind of crazy to see where that goes, especially with the new game coming out. We'll see how the landscape changes. So, also going on, we have League of Legends. Can't forget our awesome mobile game, League of Legends.
LOL.
LOL.
Which that was actually another pretty well represented tournament with a lot of countries coming out. There were 18 teams, all competing for $25,000 worth in cash prizes. And it was actually Chicks Dig Elmo / TSM, otherwise known as Team Solo Mid, formed together to make a single team. And they were, from my recall, they were the only team from USA. I think they were the only representative.
There was...
Because... the weird thing is that even though this is the World Cyber Games, here's one of the things that's I always felt was an issue is that some games get a little more representation. So, like, for instance, with StarCraft, there are more Korean competitors. Also seen in, like, Tekken 6, which we'll get to a little bit later, also had more representation from different countries. But from my recollection, that was the only USA team. And then also Extreme Dive Gaming out of Korea, funny enough.
I mean, it's in Korea, Busan, right?
Were able to come out of group play. They were the only two teams that were actually to come out to win all their games, winning 4-0. And then basically going into the finals, we had, back up a little bit, Gameberg 2-0'd CLG after they had just 2-0'd IG in round 1, which is kind of surprising.
Strong showing.
Very strong showing. Again, kind of shaking the foundation. Going into the finals, it was CDE versus Gameberg, in which CDE wins 2-0, and CDE actually only dropped one game during the entire tournament. So once again, kind of
they were not messing around.
Not necessarily out of nowhere finish, but a very strong finish, and one that makes players kind of scratch their heads and go back to the drawing board for the next major.
Definitely,
it's good stuff.
Great tournament.
Great tournament.
Great experience. Never gets old. I'm not gonna lie. As we mentioned before, there were also other games. We have Warcraft 3, which, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really watch a lot of Warcraft 3, and it was interesting to watch it and see it played. Mm-hmm. I actually played a lot of Age of Empires. I know that's not as a competitive game as Warcraft 3, but it was cool to get that break from StarCraft and see another game and how it's played. So it was really fun. There were players from South Korea, China, Germany, and Russia in attendance. So again, a nice sampling from different places to see those different ideas and play styles. Going into the finals, Panda Lin and WeGigabyte Sky, they fought their way through the bracket. And going into the finals, Panda Lin won 2-1 for the gold. So congratulations to him. Awesome job. Also, you mentioned right before Warcraft, there was also Tekken 6, which was also kind of interesting to see. Just as you mentioned, there weren't any representatives from the United States. And seeing as how the fighting game crowd, like there's a big crowd in the United States. There's a lot of rumors going around. Whether or not we ever find out exactly what's going on with those rumors, some funding issues, for sending players over to the World Cyber Games. It's just going around that maybe there just wasn't enough money to bring them over, but who knows? We might never know. But even though there was no USA, there were over 20 countries. I was actually surprised. I was surprised. Going through the list of players, that's a lot. Yeah. That's almost as much as StarCraft.
Yeah.
Now, mind you,
big pool.
Right. Now, mind you, there weren't as many people as StarCraft, but it's just all different. It was crazy. Nobi, which is from Japan, and Deja Vu from South Korea are in the finals. Nobi actually strongly won with a 3-0 victory.
Yeah, there was some serious juggle going on.
Yeah.
Serious juggle.
It was intense. I mean, especially to see China versus South Korea, just like we talked about in StarCraft, like, they're in Korea, so home field advantage, but, China's not too far away, and they sent a lot of players over, and they were not messing around. It was crazy. Good times. Even though there are no U.S. teams, we still love you guys. USA. And also, the final game that we're going to recap here is World of Warcraft, which was kind of interesting to see. I haven't watched WoW in forever.
It's been a couple years.
Yeah, definitely. And especially with the new expansion coming out, I know a lot of WoW players, especially people that may not play at the pro level, but definitely the competitive level, that kind of stepped away. So it was cool to see it again. There weren't that many teams in attendance. One of them, though, was Evil Geniuses. Go Evil Geniuses.
Yay, EG.
Team USA, basically. Unfortunately, Evil Geniuses was the only team not to make it out of group play. We love you guys, but it hurt.
Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers. What?
Come on, guys.
What? Jeepers?
Jeepers Creepers.
50s?
Yeah, 50s. It's not, you can, just because, they're playing World of Warcraft doesn't mean you can, you can't throw around cool lingo. Like, WoW and Jeepers Creepers. It falls in the same category.
Anyways.
Follow me on Twitter at Jeepers Creepers.
That's not your real Twitter, though.
No.
I'm sure Jeepers Creepers is out there. Shout out to random guy number 1.
Shout out to random guy Jeepers Creepers.
But it was kind of interesting because going into the finals, we have Kimchi Man went 4-0 in group play. So they were pretty much thought to be the strongest team, but they fell in the finals to OMG. But both of the teams were from South Korea. So it's all good. South Korea, first, second place.
I have to say it was hilarious to watch the casting because even though it may have been in a different language, you just hear them periodically, dong dong dong, wow, OMG, dong dong ding dong. Oh, whoa, what happened? I missed it. Something happened in the stream that I didn't catch.
What was it? It was, I was watching the StarCraft 2 VOD, and in the middle of the cast, they would, since, here's the thing. The stream was a standard definition stream. We all heard Mike's rant or whatever. Everyone was talking about that. But the reason they did that, it was actually being broadcast on a standard definition channel right there in Korea. So what we were seeing is what all the people in Korea were saying. And I tell you, those casters over there were going insane.
Yeah.
Like there was one point, like this huge battle was going on during the finals, and you just see the casters and like imagine like the cameras over here, and the guys both turn and they're like just screaming in the camera. It was insane. Those guys have a lot of energy. Not saying that the American casters across the board don't have energy, but the Korean casters, they get into their games. It's so entertaining to watch. So entertaining. Moving on, though, from the WCG tournament, we also have some news with the ESL Pro Series, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, man, some big news.
For all you gamers who have been waiting, it's been a long time, but now it is officially announced. The ESL Pro Series announced last week that Battlefield 3 is going to be picked up for this season as one of the major titles.
On the PC.
Now, here's the interesting thing. Actually, it started this last Sunday, but they actually already started. It's an 8-on-8 conquest mode. There's 10,000 euros up for grabs, and it's winner takes all. So this first tournament, with the game really being untested in a true competitive mode, already 10,000 euros on the line. That works out to about, I think it's 13. I took a note somewhere. It's like $13,000 American USD.
Somewhere around there.
But they only had so many slots open. All 87 slots got filled fast because tournament play, already group play started this Sunday, And it's just kind of all over the place right now because, teams are still trying to organize and, figure out how to actually, like, start a match and, friend each other. And, it's just kind of weird because it's a newer game. But it's already hot. It's already intense. Battlefield 3.
We are on our way.
2012.
Rocking it out.
Get on it, kiddos.
Woo! I'm just happy it's on the PC.
Yeah.
That was just, I know earlier in the season, was it Version Gaming?
Yeah.
They announced an Xbox version. Now, not to hate on the console people or whatever, but honestly, if you know Battlefield, the roots are in PC, and it's so refreshing to see another tournament embrace the game on PC, and hopefully next year we'll see a lot more tournaments with the Battlefield 3. So
right. The other thing that a lot of people are talking about is how is this going to work with Counter-Strike? And I think the thing is a lot of people have to understand they're two different games.
they're definitely different beasts.
So we'll have to see as far as major teams, which maybe Battlefield 2 players will return and form teams.
20 ID.
20 ID.
Shout out to you guys.
CGS.
Woo woo. Oh man, so awesome news on that front. Awesome move on that front. Let's switch some genres here. Been talking about some shooters. Been talking about some real-time strategies and some MOBAs or whatever. Let's jump into some fighting games.
Fighting games.
With some good old-fashioned bar fights. Now I tell you, me personally, like I watch a lot of tournaments and I watch a lot of streams. But there is nothing more entertaining to me than watching a good old-fashioned, just down-home, just fighting game tournament.
Slobber knocker.
It's just the drama, the energy. It's just so awesome. Seriously, there was a huge Ultimate Marvelverse Capcom 3 tournament going on. I caught most of it. Just to run down some stats here. We have Vicent beats Flo 5-2. Justin Wong, Team Evil Geniuses for the win, beats Filipino champ 5-2, and then Combo Fiend beats Marn 5-0. And here's the interesting thing, the crazy interesting thing, right? So going in, there's a huge East versus West rivalry. Obviously, I mean, if you follow the fighting game community, you know East versus West.
Or as IFC Yipes would say, East Coast!
East Coast! Now we have Jago and we have Mike Ross, okay? I'm not gonna lie, like, you could fill up a salt truck. You could fill up a salt truck with all the salt in that room. Seriously. Jago comes down and says Mike Ross is a fraud. Huge shit talk. Seriously, I love it. It's great. And going back and forth. So this is the main event. East versus West. Everyone's looking forward to see it, right? And what happens?
I'm going to say Mike Ross wins because he's named Mike and I like guys named Mike.
Unfortunately, that was not the case. Unfortunately, Jago 5-0'd Mike Ross.
Oh, jeez.
Mike Ross couldn't put his money where his mouth is. I mean, it just didn't happen. But here's the deal, though. Not only are the players in the fighting game community really, boisterous and, into the game, but so is the crowd. And the crowd wanted to see more. The crowd was like, yeah.
That's the main event?
This is the main event? 5-0? Not only was it a 5-0, like, it was like a landslide. Like, I don't even think there was actually, I mean, there were a couple, like, maybe counter-close games, but it doesn't matter. 5-0, seriously. So, the tournament organizers just got up there. All the players got up on stage. We're watching the stream, and everyone's trying to figure out like who's gonna fight who or whatever. And so they walk out on stage like, all right, crowd, we're gonna give you a chance to decide who wants to play.
We want you to pick the next match.
And the thing that the two people that the crowd was mostly just like screaming out as it was going was Combo Fiend and Jago. And Jago was like, I'm not having this.
I ain't getting bionic armed.
No.
Screw that.
Way. We are not.
Real talk.
He actually turned around, grabbed the mic, and was like, he's too good. I'm not going to play that guy. There's no way. And the thing is, like, we're talking in the chat, and everyone's like, I mean, it's honestly not that. It's not fair. Because here we go. We have Jago that just won 5-0. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have to answer to anybody. He just won 5-0. Obviously, he's afraid. Now, being afraid of a player like that, like Combo Fiend, I mean, there's mad respect there. If you don't even want to play him, come on.
Yeah.
Mad respect for him. So going back and forth, I don't remember all three choices. Like there was like Justin Wong, I think, and Filipino champ, and there was Knife, and I can't remember. But which one won? The Combo Fiend Jaco rematch, right?
Oh.
Even though the crowd wanted to see it, they did not. They did not. They were not able to see it.
They didn't run it anyway.
But Knives got up on stage. Knives and Jago played, and it was almost another 5-0. Like Jago won the first 3 games, and I was like, everyone was like, really? We're gonna see 2 5-0s in a row? But Knives was like, no way.
Ain't happening.
He won the next 3 games. Everyone was pumped because they're like, we came out to see some fighting games, and we are going to see some fighting games. Brings it to 3-3. And then Jago's like, I don't think so. I'm done playing around. Wins the next 2 games. So 5-3. Jago takes the win. Awesome stuff. Not only was there Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I keep forgetting to throw that in there. It's a new game, right? We also have some Super Street Fighter 4 action.
Street Fighter 4 action, which is great. And it's funny because I'm actually going to look straight down at my notes right now. Because Stymania played again. Well, he beat SHGL BMX, which
that guy.
But it was Stymania beat him 5-0. And what was the finals of the Rise of the Web Warrior tournament?
Rise of the Web Warrior.
Which is such a kind of a funny way to name a tournament because that's kind of hard to say. But I don't even know if that acronym spells out anything. But
they just did it to spite us.
Yeah, that's what it was.
They're like, these guys are going to do this show.
Welcome to the Rise of the Web Warrior online tournament.
Oh, man.
That's good stuff.
Great tournament.
Great tournament. Great.
At least we got the genre right that time.
At least we got the genre right.
Genre right.
Big shout out to everybody who came out to Power Up.
Definitely. Power up fighters. Then the final like kind of big thing we're going to talk about this week is the Rumble in the Bronze. Okay? It was a StarCraft charity tournament which it was put on to raise money for Child's Play. And I have to give a huge shout out to iNcontroL. There's not enough, thanks out there for iNcontroL because seriously, he loves to get the community involved and he loves to, get out there and support, amazing causes, especially like this. So he sat down and he casted a bunch of games. It was all for fun, and they raised over, I want to say, $18,000.
$18,000.
And that's like it's an estimate of what they actually raised that night. That's how many people actually clicked the donate button on the stream. But there was also another way they were explaining that you could text in to Child's Play and donate money, and that was not calculated into the $18,000 sum. So they could have very well raised more than that.
I think it's safe to say over 20,000.
Probably over 20,000, definitely. So I definitely have to give that huge shout out to iNcontroL, doing big things. We love you, and we want to see some more crazy awesome stuff going on.
It's great.
Great awesomeness. Great awesomeness.
Great awesomeness.
Great awesomeness.
Great awesomeness is a good lead-in to one last final note. For all of you Quake fans out there.
Oh, yeah.
This Saturday, December 17th, is the Azu's 2011 Cup, which is in essence the final major for Quake Live this year.
Great awesomeness.
That's great awesomeness because you know who's invited. You have players like Cypher, Cooler, and Strengths who be out there playing. They're already invited, so they're already in the final brackets. But there's also 2 online qualifiers happening, which in essence, those 2 players will be put into the brackets to play with the likes of those other players. So, great awesomeness.
Great awesomeness. Great God. Is that going to become a new thing with us?
Great awesomeness.
Great awesomeness.
I like it.
I was going for great tournament, great experience, but then I was like, dude,
screw Jeepers Creepers. Great awesomeness.
Great awesomeness is here to stay.
Great awesomeness is the new is the new phrase.
Oh man, almost wraps it up. Unless you have another, I think we were talking earlier about SK.
It was just stated that SK Gaming actually just reformed a Halo team.
What?
Which seems kind of weird because they haven't really been in the Halo game for a long time, so maybe they know something that we don't know.
They were talking about, that there were some, the tournaments over in Europe are still going on. MLG obviously here in the United States, we're in the off season with that, but SK being, over there and fielding teams over in Europe, maybe they just want to get back in the game.
Maybe the European Halo scene is just about to explode. Like we don't even know.
But maybe the United States Halo scene is going to explode too.
SK.
Oh man.
You guys.
You crazy guys out there. But seriously though, we talked about, the huge revival, thing going on with Halo or whatever. So maybe it's just going on all fronts, So awesome to see SK jumping back into Halo for sure. So that wraps up the actual esports portion of our show. It wasn't as long this time. Not at all. This last week there was just way too much stuff going on.
A lot of stuff going on.
A lot. We want to, we mentioned iHeart Esports in the beginning of the show, and I definitely want to say, please go check them out again. They make some awesome stickers. They're actually all on my computer case at home. Otherwise, I would be like, yeah, stickers. But seriously, they have like I Alt 3 Esports. So if you hit Alt and the number pad 3 makes a heart. And they have Micro Your Macro. They have all the stickers for all the different races. There's a good game sticker. So seriously, if you want some flair to flare up your computer or your notebooks or your car or your forehead, whatever, go check out iHeartEsports.com. They also have crazy awesome packs where you can get all the stickers for like a low price. So go check them out. Again, shout out to iHeart Esports with Jason.
I kind of miss the stickers on the case at LAN parties. That was always a big deal.
Dude, my case has stickers all over it. I'm not there yet. You can still see blackness, but
I don't have any stickers on my PC, and I'm kind of sad about that because that was always a big thing.
You know what? You need to go to iHeart Esports.
I will be visiting iHeart Esports and getting plenty of those stickers to cover my case.
Like a boss.
Because I miss that. That's good.
Oh, you have a lot of
Jeepers Creepers. I miss the stickers at the LAN parties
You have a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff to.
I don't know. I think next year I'm gonna get to the point where I have no room.
No more room.
Definitely. And then finally, we were doing a Twitter contest over the last 2 weeks. It was going to be just 1 week, but we extended it over the weekend. So I want to give a big shout out to our winner, Coach Met. He won a StarCraft 2 a mouse pad signed by StarCraft 2 pros with the likes of Nesty, Liquid Hero, Leanox, some crazy awesome players out there. So we'll be sending that out to you soon. And keep a lookout for some more contests brewing. There's some new contests brewing. Obviously, follow us at BossFight TV on Twitter. You're watching us on YouTube right now, so I'm pretty sure you know where to find us on YouTube. We're also going to have some live shows, possibly, or live interviews, not live shows, coming up on twitchtv.com or twitch.tv/BossFightTV. As always, just check out the website. We're going to have some articles coming out. We're going to have our text our recap of the World Cyber Games coming out very soon, and just staying just generally in sync with the esports scene. So I think that wraps it up. Finishing off episode number 2. So we would like to say thank you for watching, and as always, give us some feedback. We changed some stuff. We're still working on improving other things. So let us know what you think. What do you like? What do you hate? Do you like the new audio? Awesome. So this is Josh, also known as Anti-Pro, and
I'm Mike Bisson, aka Mohawk Mike, thanking all of you for supporting esports in whatever capacity you do, and thank you for considering.